Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the greatest podcast on the internet, starring Chris Roper, Jeff Haynes, Ryan Clements, and of course, Greg Miller. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the latest PlayStation news, all the releases for the upcoming week, discussing our topic of the week, and anything that really comes to mind. All this and more today on Podcast Beyond.
Beyond. Welcome to episode 56 of Podcast Beyond. I am your host, Chris Roper, editor-in-chief of the IGN PlayStation team. Greg Miller, what is up?
Nothing.
Jeff Haynes, what's going on? Ryan Clements, how you doing?
Hey, what?
Wait,
What happened here?
Shit, it's Database Mike.
It is Database Mike!
Oh, man.
Making my debut this week.
Yeah, Ryan is over in Germany, so sitting in for him this week is the man, the myth, the legend, Database Mike. He will be here to chime in.
I'm a legend?
How you feeling, Money?
I'm legendary, apparently.
Yeah, there you go. The German Games Convention is going on right now. Ryan's over there covering all sorts of stuff in German.
Now, of course, with Ryan gone, we don't have our usual sound effects.
Yes.
So as you will notice, we already had a beefed-up intro there from one Sean Murphy. Sean is a listener of Podcast Beyond. Nice enough to send in some original tunes for Podcast Beyond, so look for those spread out through the show.
Yes.
Not really spread out, actually. They're all in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
You lied to me, Greg Miller. You lied.
That's what I do.
So there we go. Nice new sound effects for this episode. Let us know what you think of those. Let's get right on to the Roper Report.
Some news.
So as I mentioned, Germany's Game Convention is going on. Ryan's there, blah, blah, blah. So there's a bunch of crap came out of there. Sony announced the 160 gig system. I guess the
Finally!
Space, people.
This is the one.
I guess this is to trump the 120 gig 360. So now Sony has more.
We've done it. We won.
My hard drive
theirs
is
is
bigger than your hard drive.
So this thing's gonna be $499. Comes with DualShock 3 and a copy of Uncharted.
You get it?
It's a good game.
No.
What?
I would consider getting it if I
Uh-huh.
could transfer over all my SingStar songs, which I can't, so thanks for nothing.
Here's the thing, though. So I already have Uncharted. I already have a DualShock. Those are easily purchasable. And you can put any hard drive you want, any notebook hard drive.
In fact, I did that this weekend.
Yeah?
What?
Yeah.
Database Mike pulling up the
320 gigs in mine.
What?
Nice.
Yeah.
What did you back up your stuff to beforehand?
Just a PSP memory stick.
Oh, nice. There you
And
go.
then you just transferred it over.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Check
we
that
download.
Oh, right, so finally.
And you can just re-download all your PSN games.
Or if you have a giant hard drive, you can actually do a full system backup.
Yeah.
Copies everything over automatically, moves it all back. Everything's in
Yeah,
one place.
that's what I did with my terabyte.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go. You have
Well, here's...
You have a terabyte?
Yeah, I've got a portable terabyte.
What?
Okay.
Yeah, like one of the Western Digitals.
We just trumped me.
So wait, so what?
Booyah!
So
Come on!
What drive do you have in your PS3?
I've still got the 60, but like every now and then, like I'm
you
gonna
just-
swap over to a 320, so I have
Yeah.
a terabyte that I just back up everything.
Highly
over.
recommended. It was super easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Well,
if you
here's my
want-
thing about the thing, because I'm stupid, as everybody who knows when they listen to podcasts
Quite.
beyond this. I only know retail PS3s and stuff, so when we start getting out... Database Mike, we've talked about... He had to set up my internet via phone one time, because I couldn't get it working. So SingStar songs are assigned to the system I download them to. So if I back it up, would that... And then I put it onto the new hard drive that way, does it work, or am I screwed?
No,
Because I've heard
works.
plenty of stories of kids whose, their system breaks,
Yeah,
and then they
because
can't do anything with it.
All the Magic PS stuff is in the OS, which is not on the hard drive.
Okay.
So it should work fine.
Okay. So I would have to do the backup thing and then transfer those files over and then put it in.
Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
And people online on message boards, I haven't done it myself. They're saying
Yeah.
it takes like an hour. I
Yeah.
guess to do the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm probably
not
gonna
bad.
do the 320 this weekend.
I'd like to
There you
get a
go.
bigger one as we
Nice.
go on. As we
more
go
news-
beyond.
Yeah, beyond. More news out of Leipzig is that Sony also announced the PSP 3 $1,000.
Finally.
Turbo 1000.
Finally.
This thing is basically another revision of the current PSP. It's not PSP 2. Comes with an enhanced LCD screen, which we're hearing.
What does that mean?
We're hearing that it has something like 5 times the contrast or something. Anyway,
That's just
increased
crazy.
Those
increased
boys are
contrast.
totally insane.
But it also has, apparently, this is also, things coming around, that it has double the refresh rate, which is pretty rad.
Ooh,
so
that
it
would
should
be
less ghosting. That's going to come
yeah,
out.
I can play Grand Theft Auto.
There you go. That's going to come out in
Finally.
multiple SKUs as you were. There's going to be a Ratchet and Clank Size Matters pack, which will come out on the 14th, which also has it's not in front of me, but it has a 1 gig stick in it. That's going to be on the 14th. In September, there's going to be a package that has a 4 gig stick.
Booyah!
Whoa.
But it has no
Scared
game.
me. I'm sorry.
Or it has a downloadable voucher, I believe. And then later in the year, it'll just be the core pack.
Hey, what's that voucher for?
For the 4 gig one, I believe it's everyday shooter.
Correct.
Food
Yeah.
stamps.
Newly announced.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that's coming to PSP.
Woo.
And
Food
so
stamps.
the first 2 packs I mentioned, the 4 gig stick one and then the Ratchet pack are $199. Then the core one's later this year. I believe that's $169.
You
What
get one of
else?
those, Rope?
Might have to pick one of those up.
That sounds tempting.
I'd like a 4 gig.
Might have to pick one of
all
those
that.
up.
Yeah.
That sounds like a nice
See, I
package.
have a 4 gig stick already, but like a new screen.
I'm behind everybody
Behind
on
the
this
times,
one.
man. Come on.
How
Me-
did you not get your 4 gig set?
Yeah.
We all have 4
Babies
gig
No,
have 4
I'm
gigs.
pretty sure Juan Castro stole many a thing when he left here. And one
Blame
of
it
them
on
was,
Juan. I
I'm
see how
going
it
to.
is.
I have a
Blame it
2
on
gig
Juan.
and it's mine. I started with a 32 kilobyte.
Blame the milk cart racer, why don't you?
Could hold one
More
picture.
stuff coming out of Leipzig is that Sony announced a wireless keypad.
Yeah.
This thing will affix to the top of the DualShock 3 and the little, it's going to stick in there in the USB port, I guess.
It looks ugly,
Oh,
but I'm very
freaking
excited for it.
hallelujah.
Yeah.
It looks very ugly, but I'm very excited for it.
I'm a
It's
little
like a touchpad
unconvinced
too,
about
right?
how well it's going to be. Yeah, it has some
Yeah.
sort of touchpad on
Yeah,
there. Like the
that's
whole
awesome.
thing it says can mimic a mouse. I don't know how the hell that's going to work.
Funky.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be
Black
kinda crazy.
magic.
And it's got little shortcuts to go right to your friends list and like to the home, which is pretty sweet.
So I could have asked Greg
6
Miller
axis
again.
equals mouse
Yep.
confirmed.
Yeah, this guy was sending me dirty messages last night while we were playing
can't
games.
repeat that.
Database, Mike. What are you doing?
Sending dirty messages.
There you go. A couple more things. Wipeout HD got confirmed to come out this fall. It's going to have trophy support, which is nice. BioShock is coming out on October 21st, along with every other game in existence.
Yes!
On the
Space?
28th, I think, is Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Dead Space is the 21st.
21st.
Big
So-
Little
October.
Big Planet,
Whoa.
21st.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's going to be one
Can
hell
you
of a
feel the
month.
21st is pain?
Let's see. Kratos,
Kind of.
is hitting. Jeff's going to cover this with the Zombie Blog Night update, but Kratos is hitting Hot Shots Golf today. It's pretty big news.
That's the big story.
Download
yes.
him. And last but certainly not least is Ratchet and Clank Future Future Quest for Booty. When you finish that game, you get a little teaser that says that the adventure, whatever it is, quest, I guess, continues in fall of 2009. So there's gonna be another Ratchet game in about a year. No word from Sony about whether this is gonna be another downloadable episode or a full retail disc. Although we assume that it's gonna be a full disc, keeping with Insomniac's 1 game a year type deal. So yeah, more Ratchet in about a year.
Giggity.
So that's very good. That's the end of the news.
Wah, wah.
Kratos is in a
This
golf
week,
game?
I don't think is a very big week for releases, but Greg, how can you tell us what is coming out in stores this week?
Luckily, I have the official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all 3 platforms by the IGN editors. Take it away, Sean! All right, yeah, so huge week. It's PS3, Disgaea 3, and Ratchet and Clank, Quest for Booty. Take it away, Sean! Yep,
That was a great list there. Not a whole lot to speak of.
but lots to sing about. I enjoy that the songs just dominated
Lots to sing
that
about.
segment.
Fantastic.
Jeff, do we have any sort of... I know he's probably over in Germany right now, but and he's dead over in Germany. But
Yes.
what about
Yeah.
is Zombie Blognack telling us anything?
Zombie Blognack is actually taking a page from the last guy. He's getting some bratwurst and some beer in Leipzig. But he did manage to leave a message saying that on the PSN was actually going to be a ton of content. It's rather surprising.
What?
Ton.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like the PSN.
Oh, it doesn't, but it's true, Greg Miller.
Okay.
Because Ratchet and Clank Future Quest for Booty is up on the PSN, as is Jeanne d'Arc for download for the
Ooh,
PSP.
that's an excellent game.
That is an excellent
That's
game.
an awesome game.
Hot Shots Golf Out of Bounds, the Kratos character, is now downloadable for $1.99, which is
How
excellent.
can you play golf?
I go for par.
Do they even have
Yeah.
golf in
Have you seen the
I'm
screens yet?
sure they do.
What?
Have you seen the screens?
Yes.
That's awesome. It's
It
got
looks
the
awesome.
chain drivers.
Big head.
Yes, it is fantastic. EA Sports is having a fantasy football score tracker, so you can check your fantasy football scores. Guitar Hero 3 has a Dragon Force track pack, which you should definitely check out.
Which I actually wrote about yesterday. It's impossible. But yeah, there you go.
It will melt your
Now,
face.
obviously, in keeping with Zombie Blogneck, the Last Guy demo.
Yes.
There's a Last Guy demo. Go out and get
Oh,
it
man,
now.
I love that game.
Along with that is a Last Guy Cities trailer, so you have an idea of what cities you'll be able to rescue people in.
Or kill them.
Yeah. or kill them. There's also a Force Unleashed demo, an NFL Head Coach 09 demo, Leipzig trailers with Infamous, Warhawk Fallen Star expansion pack, Quest for Booty trailer, Pain trailer, Hell's Highway trailers, Madden videos, and Quest for Booty and Infamous themes, among a ton of other stuff. Go get it.
Wow.
Infamous.
So get on there and browse around, see if you can download.
Do it.
What is going to be our pick of the week?
Pick of the week. Take it away, Sean. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the list again?
Disgaea 3, Ratchet and Clank, Quest for Booty. That's from the official IGN list of upcoming
Wasn't
PlayStation
there-
software
wasn't there one
by
other
3
game?
competitors.
Yeah,
I thought there was 3 that you said.
Didn't you say
Jean
3?
d'Arc. No, I said Disgaea
okay.
3, Ratchet and Clank, Quest for
or
Booty.
Jean d'Arc. That is a very tough call.
Well, if you haven't played Jean d'Arc, I'm guessing that's going to be the pick. But that's an old game, so we're not really going to include that so much.
It's
Now,
honorable
take
mention.
the problem is
That is an honorable mention, though.
Yeah.
Honorable mention. Okay.
Yeah.
Problem
It
is
gets an
that
asterisk.
Disgaea 3, our man is Ryan Clements, who's in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And of course,
Well, what
Damon
does he know?
Hatfield is our other Disgaea 3. If we want, we can pull some voodoo, get him in here. But seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's not really the
For-
podcast beyond style.
No,
Yeah,
it's
no.
not.
I don't know.
You
I don't know his thing.
We don't know his extension.
Oh, I used to, though.
Readers,
Just
if you know
type random
Damon's
numbers.
extension, email it to us. That'd be
Exactly.
weird. We want to see how many people are creepy.
But
Let's just try
I
random.
have it
here.
right now.
We'll just call somebody random.
No,
Yeah.
that's still
I
Oh,
would,
that didn't work.
I would probably
What is
say
happening?
Disgaea 3.
Hold on, we're calling
I
random
mean,
extension.
I would go with that.
I've been playing a little Disgaea 3, and I'd say Disgaea 3.
We call it receptionist. That's
If
what
you
we'll do
like
next.
1 and 2, then.
This doesn't seem like it's Damon.
I don't think it is.
Maybe
either.
it is.
You're just killing time
Let
now,
it
aren't
go.
you?
We'll just have whoever it is on the show.
Okay.
You're randomly on Podcast Beyond.
You're probably phoning me.
Probably
no,
are.
I don't think so. Who's it gonna be? Voicemail's got it.
Person at extension.
Yeah, that's not.
Oh.
The receptionist.
Epic fail.
Is
But
it,
when you call, you have to dial in as Damon stuff.
does the receptionist end with a 0 or a 1?
It's a 0.
Thank you. Is it?
Yeah.
1 is the fax.
Are you trying to type
But
in his
this is
name?
going to go.
Because that doesn't
You're
work.
going to have to dial in his name, though.
Thank you for calling IGN Entertainment.
Oh, really? Okay.
Our customer service operating hours are Monday.
See, I was thinking our straight receptionist, who I could just say the
I
name
don't know
to.
what that number is.
Oh, I know it.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Who's that guy?
Hold on, this is
I've
great
never heard
radio.
that guy.
Dude, yeah.
I'm not
what was
editing this,
that?
by the way.
Are you serious?
Here we go. This is her. Please be there. Receptionist.
Hello, this is Anthony.
Hi, can you connect me to Damon Hatfield?
Sure, 1 second.
Thank you.
Wow. This is.
He's on the
Riveting.
Nintendo team.
Okay, I'm transferring you now.
Thank you.
Beyond.
You're welcome.
Beyond.
Beyond?
Beyond.
This is riveting radio.
That is not
I know.
our regular receptionist, folks.
No, it's not.
Some dude who was passing by.
Yeah, picked up the phone.
Did we get disconnected? What's happening?
I don't know. As everyone in the IGN office knows, it's very hard to use our transfer system.
Oh, God.
And apparently that's what happened.
We have lost.
No Damon.
Lost a fight.
I
Thanks
still,
for nothing, Anthony.
I still say Disgaea 3.
All right, we'll go with this guy 3.
There you go.
We tried
This
our
guy-
best.
Pick
Too.
of the week. Go
Pick of
get
the
it.
week!
Damon, we tried to call you.
Damon, we did our
Why
best,
didn't you
man.
pick up? We could call.
I love you, Damon.
Damn you,
Cell
Damon.
phone won't work.
I gotta start bringing my cell phone in here because it has the numbers we need in it.
Damn you, Damon.
Ah, well. All right, so that's pick of the week is Disgaea 3. Just kind of by default because we don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
I got to sell, but never mind.
Yeah. Let's get on to. There's no trophy tips because there's no new games this week.
Just a tip.
Let's get on to topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
This
We have
week
topics?
is. We didn't actually discuss what topic of the week was
I
going to be.
assumed it was going to be our
It's gonna be
reaction to the
freeform.
German.
That's
Exactly.
exactly what it's going to be.
All right.
To the
Let
German.
me
To pair.
quote insider Mike Thompson,
Boom.
and that's just
Mike.
quoting him about life.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Not. I mean,
that
But I
fits.
think his quote of life applies to.
that's a baby's
Games
game.
Convention.
Yeah. No. I was not impressed. I was underwhelmed.
That's pretty crappy.
I was
Greg- Let me say for our readers, Greg and I got here at 7:30 in the morning on
Wow.
Wednesday because the press conference started at 8 a.m. So we got here at 7:30, 2 hours before we usually get here, to get ready to hear some like Uncharted 2
News. Oh,
yeah.
announcement, to hear
gonna
like
be great.
PSP 2 get announced, hear the 7 terabyte PS3 get announced,
My God.
and then
Skynet confirmed.
Skynet announcement. But none of that happened. Instead, we got a updated PSP, which is cool. But that
It
was
has
it.
a mic.
We got our heartstrings toyed with by Sony too about this SingStar stuff.
Yeah.
They announced Disney. All right, whatever. They announced some German
The
Turkish
Turkish
party.
party?
But the big announcement they said that was coming to Europe, and then they confirmed in the blog was coming to America, was that they vaguely said they were very vague about it during their conference and said that you were going to be able to put PS2 discs into the PS3 while put it in, and they made it sound like copy it to your hard drive. So I could, if I had,
That's what it did sound like.
And of course, it turns out that is not the case. I can only swap discs now, which is lame.
Yeah. So what they need is a carousel PS3 for.
There you go.
6-star players.
6-star stringer. They should just put everything off those old discs up on the store because I don't want every song off the old disc.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's what
But that would make too much sense for Sony. Yeah.
Way too much sense.
Anyway, the rest of the show, I mean, looked to be kind of a bust. I mean, there was a bunch of good games there. MotorStorm and Resistance that was there, but from what I understand, Resistance was just the Chicago part that we had seen before. They were showing Infamous again, but Ryan's saying that's the same thing.
Resistance Retribution was the same thing as
so it's a lot of the same stuff.
Killzone.
Really solid things, but a lot of the same stuff that we had seen before. Heavy Rain was like the big show.
Yeah.
Heavy Rain.
The press conference, but
You went there.
Of course I did.
yeah, but I mean, there wasn't a Megaton to come out and give us all hope for the future.
Yeah.
For Sony, no future.
Oddly absent.
Skynet.
Oddly
I want my
absent
Skynet.
was Home.
Yes.
Still
that
nothing
was,
on Home.
That was actually
Home?
extremely
What's
surprising,
Home?
given that it was
Exactly.
in Europe,
Europe.
and Sony London is doing it. But they don't want to talk about it. I guess maybe they canceled it. Probably not. But
That'd be great if they just never talked about it again.
that would be actually incredible.
They change the
I
subject
would
every
love
time you
that.
bring it up on an interview.
It would be
Ballsy,
elevated
Sony.
to the realm of Duke Nukem Forever, I think.
Yeah.
It would be, or in the Phantom.
Come get some.
It would be one of those. Like, when is PlayStation Home coming out?
Yeah.
Well, it's 2028, maybe next year. But
Whatever you take away
PS6.
from the 3000? Anything? A
don't know,
mic
I mean,
built in?
No, built-in mics, man. But okay, so I think it's cool that it's gonna have a better screen. The refresh rate certainly is gonna be nice. If it looks better. They say it has less glare if you're outside.
Yeah.
That's all nice.
Who
My issue
plays
with that,
outside?
my issue with this is that you have the DS and then it gets up to the DS Lite, but it's the same system, right? The screen, has looks better or whatever, and it's nicer to hold. But it's the same kind of, it's basically the same thing. And Sony sort of, but the DS Lite's been out for X number of years, and there's
Long time.
Nintendo's not touching it anymore. Sony keeps just kind of revamping and kind of tweaking a little bit to the PSP, so you're like, now my PSP feels outdated, and should I go buy a new one? I don't know. This one's better and has the mic built in there, but I can plug in my own stupid mic, and and it's sort of like, well, you should get the system set and let it sit there and run on its own merits. Maybe do one refresh in the middle, like towards the end. How they have like the PS2
I thought the Lite was a good move. I mean, it seemed like
Yeah.
maybe a little bit late.
But
Because
That
I
was
mean,
cool, but now they're doing another refresh, and you're sort of like, well, why didn't they?
Yeah, but you know what it almost feels like they're doing? It's almost like they're taking a page out of Nintendo's playbook with the Game Boy, where they had like the GBA, or they had the Game Boy, then they had the
That's
GBA,
right.
then they had like
The
all the
color,
different color
yeah,
and
then
all
the
the different
colored casing.
Pocket was
Exactly.
my
So I mean,
favorite.
it almost feels like they're doing the same old playbook that Nintendo used to do,
Yeah.
but they're basically going, okay, so now we're going to add increase the battery life because we're going to reduce the number of cycles that it has to access the UMD. Okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to add these features for the software. Okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to do some other peripheral or something like that. It seems like they're kind of planning on how exactly they're going to make this system actually like catch on fire. So like every single time they come up with something new, it's almost like, okay, this is going to work, as opposed to actually coming out with a PSP2, which is like, okay, here's flash memory, here's a hard drive, here's better like
see,
here's
that's the thing.
whatever else.
I think Sony is hoping that, like what you're saying, that it's going to kind of start the fire and get people more excited about the system. But it's like, okay, you're getting small little refreshes. That's not going to happen until people were very happy with the Slim. Feels better, very good. Now you can say, okay, I was on the fence. Now I'll finally go get it. Whatever. That's all good. But what the system really needs is games, and they didn't show
Hell
really
yeah.
anything in terms of
Why buy
software.
Anything. I mean,
Resistance was there. I mean, that game was awesome.
that's pretty much
Right, but that's
the same
about
thing
it.
we saw
And
in
They're like,
E3.
here's a mic built in for all you Skype users. Oh, seriously?
Skype
Why?
users.
yeah, that's like Skype. If
I'm
you
gonna talk to you on
haven't already
Skype,
been
Greg.
using Skype with your Slim, then you're probably not necessarily going to run and go, ooh, I got to get a Skype, or like it's not necessarily going to work that way. I think like the fact that they decided to show, as far as the PSP was concerned, elements that we already knew about, like Retribution or Super Stardust Super Stardust Portable, things like that. It's just like, okay, that's all fine and good, but damn it, we need games. We
Yeah.
haven't had any serious games for a long time.
Long time.
Like, are we going into a PSP desert, or what the
Pounding
hell
the
is going
table.
on here? I am pounding
Jeff
the table
is
because
angry.
this is freaking ridiculous. And being on the night shift and not seeing a single thing come out of Sony is like, what the hell is going on here?
Now here's the one thing you have to look at is that nobody really had a great showing at at the games convention. It was just sort of a, hey, guess what? Here's what you saw at E3 again. So that's kind of the same thing for everybody. So it's not like Sony was the only people that didn't really do anything new.
Right.
And in fact, Sony kind of made the most of the announcements.
According to Eric Brudvig, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe had a good showing. They showed the Joker fatality, and it's supposed to be really cool.
That helps.
Spoilers.
Okay, so there's that. Joker can have a fatality.
Midway wins. Midway's won GDC.
Midway wins the system war.
But but it's sort of like with E3 kind of dying off. You kind of expected more stuff to happen
Yeah,
here.
I mean, people were making this
yeah.
seem like it's going to be the second coming.
Sony Europe came out and said we're going to have 12 big announcements.
Yeah, that's because Reeves
Tokyo
came out
Game
and-
Show.
One
It's
of the
gonna be in
announcements
there.
was Sing Along with Disney. One of the announcements was Turkish Party. One of the announcements was the keypad. It's like, all right,
Yeah, but I think
whatever.
a certain amount of that is because a lot of Europe still still has a huge sell-through with the PS2. I mean, it's a lot larger in some cases than it is
Crazy
over
Europeans.
here.
No,
So
yeah,
the fact
sure.
that
Why
you're
won't
still
you
pumping
upgrade?
out a lot of these things, and SingStar is still so big
Yeah,
for them.
it
makes a lot of sense.
It's a thing that makes
But-
huge. It makes nothing but sense for them to be like, guess what? For everybody who has Pop Volume 1 and 2 and has all this, and I mean, they have, there's people out there with huge SingStar libraries over there who need it, but
you know what I think the other part is I think that there's a certain amount of people that are still kind of dealing with the E3 hangover. Because E3 was so
E3
underwhelming
hangover.
this year that it's almost
like
like
that.
they could go and blow out everything with Leipzig, but it's also like, well, we also have TGS coming in.
That's the thing. Is
2
everybody
months.
expecting the buck now past the TGS? Are
Yep.
we? Everybody's kind of expecting and hoping that the next Team Eco game will be shown there. That would be massive.
Yeah.
But would that? I mean, is Sony going to turn out more than just that at TGS? If that even happens,
I would think that they would have to. I think primarily because White Knight's story would definitely be one of those things, since nobody's heard of it, heard anything from them in at least a year. I think that would definitely be one of those things that they decide to roll out there. But I think that, like I was saying, I think this year was just a transitional period. Next Leipzig might be one of the ones where they actually blow out a ton of stuff, because it's like, look, we already know E3's fallen off and they have to come back, and everybody is essentially expecting Europe and Japan to basically take over. So unless E3 winds up returning to prominence, which God knows if it will, that's where those two shows are going to actually have the announcements. I think it was just people pulling back because they were like, well, should we really show our hand this early, or do we wait till October and then have TGS and let it go?
See, the thing is, if somebody's not showing a hand, you wonder if they even have one.
Yes,
so you're
that's
like,
true.
does Sony have anything really crazy? Or do we see it all? And Sony's got a great lineup coming out: Resistance, Killzone, Living Planet, all these games. It's all great. But is there anything else? Because it sort of seems like Microsoft did the same thing. They put out Halo, they put out all these other games, and now it's kind of, here's a bunch of RPGs, and that's what we've got for now. And maybe in a couple years down the future, we'll have Mass Effect 2 or whatever. And on the Sony side, it's like, we know everything's coming out this fall. We know that everything's coming out early next year. And is there anything else?
It probably was just a European bluff, though. I mean, it probably was one of those things where, we, Reeves comes out and says we have the Big 12, and then Microsoft has to scramble and go, okay, then what are we going to possibly show? And they release their lineup, and it's like, okay, that's fine, but then here's these things that are going to cater specifically to Europe and our European audience.
The problem is, if it is a bluff, and then Microsoft called them on them, and Microsoft brings Halo or whatever to
then
all of a
they're
sudden-
screwed.
Yeah,
but that's just the
so-
same way that poker works. I mean,
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what
blah.
happens.
My prediction here, take it down, podcast listeners. August 21st,
Beyond.
2008. Greg Miller is saying that the podcast Beyond after TGS, my reaction will be
Ooh,
nothing.
Mike Thompson, too.
Going out with a whimper this
that-
year is my
I
prediction.
think I'm going to
Wow.
say the same thing for everything except for Team Eco stuff.
Yes.
If they announce
Yes.
Team Eco stuff, it's going to be amazing.
That's all I
and
need.
everything else will probably
And no one
suck.
will
See,
buy it.
my
And-
means it's not going to happen.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
possible.
I'm saying overall. I'm not saying I'm pooing Sony's
You know,
thing.
one thing that
better
would
not.
excite me
I'll
that's
fight
almost
you.
definitely to happen at TGS, but doesn't happen before then, is Polyphony will show off the damage stuff for Gran Turismo, which
Sure.
is a major thing for that franchise. That's sold 40-some-odd million copies.
No.
So,
now the one-
that's at least one thing that we should see at TGS, if not before then.
One thing that I did want to talk about, which I'm still a little I still wonder about a little bit, is now we're back to 2 SKUs again for
Yep.
the PS3.
Yep.
What the hell do we need to do to kill this thing to a
promise-
single SKU system?
People have
usually-
demanded more SKUs.
No, but the thing
I'm
is,
demanding more.
I can't tell you how many
Like,
times
I-
I've gone into a Toys R Us and seen people. I don't want this one.
I want more choice.
I want the good
that's,
one.
That's all fine and good, and I'm glad that we have a 160 gig hard drive. I mean, that's awesome. But it's really one of those things where it's like, could we just decide not to have the 80 gig
No,
system
but
and
see,
just go
here's the
straight
thing.
to the 160?
This is the weird thing that's happening this generation between Microsoft and Sony, is that there's basically a pissing match between who has the better value, so you're talking about
Right.
lower
Yeah,
price, and who has the more high-end system. And so Sony has better hardware all around. I mean, some people can kind of argue some aspect, but by and large, everybody agrees that Sony has the better system all around, right? And so if Microsoft comes in and says, "Hey, we've got a bigger hard drive now," that's one notch that's off Sony's thing. So Sony has to say, "We've got a bigger hard drive also. We still have all of our checkpoints that the PS3 is a better system." So Sony needs to do that, but then also have the lower end stuff, so you can have the $399 or lower price point. Somebody from GameStop today was saying in the news that they expect $50 price drops for both the 360 and the PS3 this year, and there's already ads and whatever else coming out for a lower price 360 already again, which is stupid.
No, but it makes sense though, because I mean, like this really is becoming a situation of hard drive envy, and considering that the PS3 you could already upgrade it and you had still the same functionality, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you really want to give Microsoft a kick to the nuts, take the 80 gig, drop it to 350 or 300 or something that is like so ridiculously competitive that the 360 would have to literally slash prices or crash and burn, and then make the 160 like the 399 or something like that, and just go, look. You want to play with the big boys. You're going to have to do something drastic to make it.
Here's the thing, though, is aside from Blu-ray, which is a lot of people are buying PS3 to get Blu-ray video playback, and in some respects hard drive size, because people are comparing similar drives, I guess, for whatever reason. We're now in the cycle of the hardware where people are looking at the games as opposed to the systems, which is what you should be doing from the beginning. But, early on you're saying which is the better system, which one's more powerful, which games look better. Now people are paying attention to the name of, the 360 library versus the PS3 library. And so people are starting to pay more attention to that. So it's becoming less about the hardware, but yet these two people, two companies still are fighting over it. And it's sort of like, well, focus on the software as opposed to the hardware, and see what you do there. And I think that's where it's going to go.
I just think if they did that kind of a drastic thing and literally went put up or shut up to Microsoft, not only would that accelerate sales of like Blu-rays and systems and software, but it would be one of those things where it's like either they step up and compete, or they're pretty much done, because that's just going to sell a ton of systems.
I mean, that's the problem though, is if it doesn't work for Sony, the PlayStation division could be pretty much done because it's already losing so much money. They need to recoup it. They can't really drop it anymore. So
make games.
Make more games. Make more games.
Well, you could.
Just give me Gran Turismo 5. Games. I'll buy 10 of those. Any last thoughts?
Database Mike.
What?
It's on you.
What are you talking about?
Finish it up. Summarize everything.
Do it.
Show you're better than Ryan.
Do it now.
Because right now Ryan would say, "You guys have said everything I was thinking."
And then he just goes do or something like that.
Hey Ryan, you just got beowned.
Beowned?
You're in Germany and you just got beowned.
He's crying right now. He doesn't know why.
In his beer and sauerkraut.
Let's see. Sum up. New PSP dumb. Team Ico game can save the PS3 or Eco game, as the case may be. And my PS3 phone's all of yours because it's bigger. Take that, Jeff Haynes.
Suck it.
Very good. All right. Time for some reader mail.
Reader mail. Mail.
Maelstrom.
Mail.
Mail call.
Malice.
Mail.
Mail area.
Pattern.
Mail genitalia.
I see what you did there.
All right, first and foremost, absolutely. Last week we got reader mail from somebody that we only knew as W, who said that if Greg would do a rant on the Great Khali being the main event versus Triple H at WrestleMania,
SummerSlam,
at SummerSlam, then he would take the sign. He was going to be in the front row, take a Podcast Beyond sign to SummerSlam, and hold up the entire match. We got a bunch of emails. Some people didn't see the sign at all. Some people saw the sign once. We got a bunch of these. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm going to skip right to W's, who signs his name as W this time only. I might have guessed his name correctly last time.
What up, Dub?
First off, actually, let me say he sent us pictures of the two signs. So if you haven't seen it, one sign says Podcast Beyond Beyond's Khali in black and alternating kind of black and red pen, and then our marker, and then the other one says JBL Fears Podcast Beyond.
Beyond?
In case you get these off of iTunes, we will have these linked to the article. They'll be in the article for this. So go to IGN.com right now.
Yeah.
PS3.IGN.com.
Yeah, keep hitting F5. Give us some page clicks. Anyway, so here's his email that he sent in on Sunday after the event. It says, I am disappointed to report that my Podcast Beyond sign did not have much of an appearance on the SummerSlam pay-per-view, though I did manage to sneak it past the people checking signs at the door. As soon as I held it up, I was approached by a scary dude with an earpiece who requested in a not-so-nice manner that I turned over my sign to him immediately. I think I managed to get it a little bit of screen time during Jeff Hardy and MVP's entrances, but it was right after this that it was taken away. He's included pictures, yada, yada, yada. So it did get on the thing. He definitely made his attempt.
We've heard people saw it.
Yeah, we've heard people that have seen it.
No one screen capped it though. So
if
if
anybody
you
has a
have this on
picture of
tape, get your digital camera and take a picture of the screen.
Yeah, and send it. We want pictures of this, and if you can handy cam, DVR, whatever, however you want to do it. I would just like to have a little clip the thing on the TV. That'd be pretty rad. But so W, thank you for holding up your end of the agreement. You did as best as you can. Everybody else should be happy with his loyalty,
Rock on.
his attempts, his sneakery, solid snake style past the dudes at the front door. But once
and avoiding the body slam.
He can't be secretive about it. He had to get it out there as much as he could. He took the risk, and they took it away from him. So he did what he did, and he's a good man. W, you are in our hearts for this week at least. Our first email comes from Eraquitas, whatever that means. He says, a while ago I remember watching a short trailer showing a girl and a pig-like creature seeming stranded in a desert. The pig ate flies by snorting them through his nose. He doesn't remember too much else about the trailer because it saw a long time ago, but he distinctly remembers being ecstatic hearing about its release for some reason. Any help on naming the game and or news on the development?
Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Yes, it is. Not that name isn't confirmed. It's another Beyond Good and Evil game. And no other news on the development of the game.
All right.
But it is Beyond Good and Evil sequel. So there we go. Hopefully. WS002 says, do you think we will see Jack on the PS3? Do you think that Naughty Dog is doing that now or Uncharted 2? I'm going to say they're doing both.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
How's that
Pretty
one?
much.
Uncharted 2 is a given. There's no way that they're not going to follow up that game. And they've basically said as much that it's an important franchise to Sony, blah, blah, blah. That's obviously we're going to make that. And Jack is the same way. There's no way that we're not going to see a Jack game on the PS3. That would be...
Well, they've already alluded that they're going to bring it. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah. Flea 2002 says, you guys never talk about sound in your review. What games are in 7.1, if any, and can the PS3 do games in Dolby Digital True HD? Here's the deal with sound and 7.1 versus 5.1. First off, most people don't care. Yeah, people with 7.1 setups, which is probably pretty low, those people might be interested. But part of the problem is that games might say that they're in 7.1, but it might only be a cutscene and not the actual game. If you look back at Metal Gear Solid 2 on the PS2, it said it had Dolby Digital support. But that was only for the cutscenes, or it's 5.1. That was only for the cutscenes. Then it was in ProLogic for the rest of the game. I think it was one of the Grand Theft Autos had DTS support, but that was only for, or no, that was actually output in the game. But anyway, it can be confusing as to if a cutscene's in 7.1 or if the whole game is and all this crap, and if it's true 7.1 or whatever it is. And there's all sorts of things. So. Basically, is the sound good? Yes, it is. If it's, and a lot of times sound, we don't really worry about mentioning it because it's, if something is awesome, we're going to tell you. If it's kind of average, we're not really going to bother to point it out because every game has sound.
Yeah. And the other thing is, there's so few developers that are actually putting in 7.1, even though it is available. I mean, I think out of all the ones that we've seen in the past year, I recall, one developer actually mentioning 7.1.
Yeah. So there you go. Bear in Mind, spelled Barren. It's a nice play on words.
Nice one.
Says, now that Burnout Paradise has set the stage, what PS3 games would you like to see re-released as downloadable titles on PSN for a reduced price?
I would like to see Heavenly Sword.
That's a good one.
I've never played it. It's my own fault. I mean, I played the demos back in the day, but I never got around to playing the full deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could definitely see Heavenly Sword. That was a really good one. I'd see Uncharted or even Ratchet.
See, the thing is, I want to know how big some of these games are.
Yeah.
Because if it's
we're
a
not all database Mike here.
If it's a cross-platform game, you can assume that it caps out at about 8 or 9 gigs, which is reasonable. But if it's like Metal Gear Solid 4 is 50 gigs or whatever it is, that's too much for somebody to download their system.
Actually, Resistance would be great if it was a download.
That's another question: is how big is that game?
How big is it? Right.
The greatest hits. Let's put those on.
Yeah, stick all the greatest hits up on there.
And Leo.
There's the answer.
Oh.
If they need a patch layer with trophies, I'm telling you.
Patch layer with a good game and then release it up to... there you go. WKD Injection says, I know from videos that in Fallout 3 you can choose to play the game in first person and third person, but does the third person view the same problem as in Oblivion where it doesn't look right, where the character is almost floating over the ground? The character in Oblivion was kind of floaty. From everything that I've played, I've only played in first person in Fallout, but from everything that I've seen of the third person stuff, it's an over the shoulder view. So unless you like tilted the camera straight down, you wouldn't see his feet. So it's more of the Resident Evil over the shoulder type view. So that's not going to be like a huge problem that you're worrying about. But it does look like it's implemented much better than overall the third person stuff in Oblivion. So
when I was playing that, I didn't notice anything like glaring about it.
We actually built the game with third person in mind. Like Oblivion, they just kind of threw it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pseudoprime 1979 says, Greg, how are the wrestling games, specifically SmackDown vs. Raw and TNA, shaping up for this year?
Hard to say. A lot of people. We're obviously right now in the middle, or towards the end actually, of TNA listers. So I can talk your ear off about that game, but SmackDown. I think 3 previews you've read is pretty much all we have so far. Although things are about to change drastically. So I would be all over IGN next week, and then not leaving IGN from there on out for
forever.
SmackDown news. Yeah.
Even if the site shuts down in 50 years and the internet
Don't
dies.
do it. Don't leave.
Keep hitting F5.
You gotta.
Pseudoprime also has a second question. He says, is Quest for Booty a good introduction to the Ratchet and Clank franchise? Is it better than Ratchet and Clank Future Tools of Destruction? No, it is not better than Tools of Destruction. Obviously, it's Tools of Destruction is a longer, fuller game. And as a good introduction, that's arguable. Because you could say it's sort of a $15 trial, see if you like the game or not. But then at the same time, you might as well download a demo, or which is certainly possible, or take your $7, how much it costs to rent a game for Blockbuster these days, and go rent the full game.
Yeah.
Maybe you can beat it before you have to return it.
Especially because Booty builds on Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really introducing you to the story. Like, it starts with that whole abbreviated storybook thing of why Ratchet's here and what's happening with Clank.
Yeah, I would definitely go play Tools of Destruction first. So there you go. Nathan 2587. All these numbers and names says, is there any info whatsoever on Assassin's Creed 2? The answer, Database Mike. The answer is no.
Oh, that was my answer.
Yeah, you were just saying. Anyways,
he's leading up to it.
There you go. Dan Kukiyaku, I think I pronounced it correctly. Says, what games would you like to see released on the PSP? Any is my answer. Let's go to...
That works.
Anybody else want to chime in on that?
It's a good one.
That works, period.
American Ninja 1 says, have you guys got a preview build of Bioshock 3 lately? I guess you played it lately. If so, how is it shaping up?
We don't have a preview build of Bioshock. We are expecting one possibly soon. We're keeping our fingers crossed. But the game looks awesome, plays better than you'd expect, and Survivor mode will kick you in the nuts over and over and over again till you scream, and then kick you one more for good measure.
There you go. He continues on to say, do you know if it will be a full-price game of $59.99, or do you think it will sell for $39.99? It's definitely a $59.99 game. If it ends up being $59.99, do you think it's worth paying that much for a one-year-old game?
Yes.
Yes, it is absolutely for the Survivor
mode and the challenge rooms.
And the challenge rooms and all that kind of thing. If you have played through Bioshock already on the 360 or the PC, and you aren't too interested in going back through in a different mode, then no. You're not going to want to buy the game again. But, for me, I love Bioshock. I want to play through on these other modes. For me, it's an easy $60. Yeah. I'm not questioning that. I'm definitely going to get it.
Yeah, the mode is fun but hard. The challenge rooms that they're going to be releasing are going to be a completely different way of looking at the game, and they're going to be new downloadable content, supposedly every week or every other week or something like that, with a completely new challenge room. So there's going to be a lot more than just the standard game.
Yeah, so there you go. So go get the game.
Database Mike, you gonna get it?
No.
Did you play it on 360?
Yes.
I fall into your camp, I think.
Oh. You fail.
I finished it, and I was like, I'm done. I'm glad I played it, and I'm not interested in going back.
A lot of people that are writing in forget the fact that a lot of people have not played the game because they don't have a 360. They don't have a good PC or whatever. So the people that have never played the game, there's no question the game's worth $60.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%, yeah.
So, if you've played the game and you don't want to play it again, then, save your money.
Yeah.
Or go rent it and, try out the new stuff.
Would you like to buy some stocks with me, Database Mike?
The ending was stronger, but what are you going to do?
Argent Gamer 123 or 123. Depending on your pronunciation of the name, is could the PlayStation team and Xbox team combine to do a comprehensive podcast once in a while?
No.
It's called GameScoop. Happens every Friday.
Scott Reich says, despite the fact the recent influx of music games, being Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and Rock Revolution, has in fact grown the video game industry, do you think that the genre has become stale with every publisher trying to make their own version? Absolutely not. No, that's it. Whatever you want to say. Absolutely. Okay, so Rock Revolution doesn't look very good. But the other two games are better every year because of it.
Yeah.
If Guitar Hero had come out and had no competition, Harmonix would have probably taken more time to get to Rock Band because they would have, added, maybe drums or something, or expanded on the set before, added downloadable content in Guitar Hero 3. Then maybe Guitar Hero 4 would have had extra. Anyway, but it would have been a much slower process because Harmonix got separated from Red Octane, and now you have two games basically coming out of the former marriage. Now the games are competing, so now you have Rock Band comes out, brings all the instruments. Now Guitar Hero's coming out, bringing create your own music. Rock Band 3's got to come back with creating your own music, but then Guitar Hero's got to turn around and do something else.
Yeah. May I simply remind you all of Madden versus NFL 2K? I mean, you need this competition to drive whatever that format's going to be. Otherwise, it's just going to.
It's interesting to watch people start forming their factions, choosing their sides. You say, is it stale already? No, but you figure we're just getting to the point now where it's kind of a level playing field where people are offering similar experiences across the board. So
yeah, and hey, at least let's point out the fact that now Sony is at least saying, hey, everything with Rock Band 2 and Guitar Hero World Tour, the instruments will be uniform. So for people like me who have the PS3 versions and don't want to shell out additional money for extra instruments, that's a huge plus, and that's one of those things that's really going to help drive the industry more.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I think you can kind of say that it's becoming kind of stale is a lot of the games are having a lot of crossover music now. It's because somebody will go to the Red Hot Chili Peppers and say, we want to license a song. They say, we'll give you this one. Then the other company goes there and says, well, hey, we'll give you the same song because we're already licensing it. And so that's why you're getting a lot of those. That is sort of making it become a little stale, but that's
the fault of the artists. I mean, if
but
they don't want to open up their
artists.
if they don't want to open up their library and make more money for it, I mean, that's their fault.
But I mean, if you look at the total amount of songs that is going to be in the Rock Band category by the time the 2 ships, and it's 500 songs or whatever the hell it is, you can't say you can't find good music in there. So no, I mean, it's getting better and better. Passion of Shorty says, with
Shorty?
the recent announcement of the 160 gig SKU for the PS3 SKU, what are your thoughts on it being packaged with Uncharted instead of a game like Resistance, Fall of Man, or even Call of Duty 4, despite it being a third-party game, considering that there are sequels of both being released in the coming months?
I think he answered his own question.
Yeah. Since there are sequels coming out, people are going to want to go back and play their games, so they're going to buy those anyway. Uncharted doesn't have a formally announced sequel yet, and so you say, hey, guess what? Play this game. There's right now, aside from people talking about Uncharted and say, hey, the game is awesome, you should go back and buy it, there's not anything new happening there's trophies for it. But there's not, aside from that, there's not anything new with the franchise that's making people kind of go back and look at the past games. So it's easier for them to put that in there. With another Call of Duty coming out, another Resistance coming out, then you can say, hey, I want to know, I didn't play Resistance 1, I should go play this before I play 2. Now it gives you a reason to go, to buy those. And on top of after getting the system with Uncharted in there, now you have both games.
Yeah, and think about this. Call of Duty has kind of had a spotty history as far as whether the game's good or not. I mean, everybody remembers Big Red 1 or some of the other games in that series.
Play the Infinity War games.
Play the Infinity War games. But Resistance, people will buy a PS3 and get Resistance regardless.
Yeah.
But Uncharted is one of those games that it's a good game, and some people still consider it to be an underdog as far as the system's concerned.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the end of Reader Mail.
Mail call. Mr. Bill.
Hit of the week.
Hit of the week.
So hit of the week, we had had a couple random requests in here. Let me see if I can run through here. We didn't have anything that completely stuck out in my mind though. So I'm a little worried that the requests this week
I got one.
All that amazing.
It's a friend of mine.
Ooh,
I'd like the world to know that actual human beings I know outside of the video game industry with PS3s has skyrocketed to 4. So we are making waves. This kid's had it for a while, but all he does is play Rock Band. So his name is Jason Rosenbaum. I worked with him for quite some time. Went to college with him. Also worked with him. I did, sadly. And also worked with him at the Columbia Daily Tribune, where he is the political reporter for the Columbia Daily Tribune. All he does is play Rock Band.
You are just calling out all
You need to go get him. Yeah, well, I'm trying to give you everything.
Do you have an address? We can
he
go
wears
and actually
glasses, somewhat skinny, a lanky individual. Nice guy. Soft-spoken. Haven't played Rock Band with him. The whole thing about states being in between
his proclivities happen to be...
Likes politics a lot. Go get him. It's a very witty. It's a hard one. You might want to break out your pens.
Okay.
His PSN name is Jason Rosenbaum. All one word. ROSENBAUM. Jason JASON.
Jason, you've just been hit.
PSN hit confirmed.
There we go. Jason Rosenbaum's hit of the week.
Wow.
You'll have to contact him.
Here's
find
the
out what
thing,
happened.
too, though. Yeah, well, yeah, you can send in your reports to us. Don't mention me. Don't mention me at all. And I don't, because I sincerely doubt he listens to Podcast Beyond. So
Yep.
you're welcome just to Beyond him to death. Don't worry about that. Say stop Beyond. Stop playing Rock Band Beyond, whatever. But don't say IGN. Don't say Greg Miller. Don't say Podcast Beyond. If we just left it ambiguous Beyonds, I think that would work really well.
Yeah.
All right.
But we somehow have to find out what happened to him, though.
Yeah,
that is a tough one, I guess. I'll drop him about Wednesday. He's online a lot, so Wednesday I'll drop him the ambiguous. How's the PS3 treating you? He's had it for a while. Don't get me wrong. This isn't like his first week or anything, but
There you go.
there we go. It's great, but I keep getting all these crazy Beyonds.
Like, what's happening?
What is going on here?
We don't have any tournament winners to announce this week because Ryan is in Germany and
Database Mike, he's the winner.
Database Mike won. So he is the winner of. What did you win?
China.
China. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, wouldn't it be Madagascar or French Antilles? Or Dutch Antilles, I guess so?
I don't know. That's too much
Teams every week.
world
Yeah.
history. I don't know what you're talking
There you
about.
go. Editor beat down the NCAA tournament.
It continues.
Have you moved it up to week 2 yet?
I have.
Have you? Okay.
Yes.
Because I know that some of us were just going like, will we ever get to week 2?
You're welcome to hate the man who did it. His name is Sham Deluxe.
Oh.
On Friday, I was all set to move it ahead. We were all done. He was not ready. And then I had to do stuff this weekend. I didn't have time to worry about it.
Yeah,
there you go.
It's going slow.
He's also the dude who was like, oh, Big 12 Dynasty, I'll totally get on that, and then had a bunch of teams that weren't Big 12 in his top 10 that he wanted to be. So, Sham Deluxe.
But it's in week 2 now.
Yeah, now we're in week 2. Everybody should go play. I won my game like 75-6, something like that.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, this pretty much brings us to the end of the show, but I have an announcement to make. Something pretty cool that we're doing
snap.
next.
Don't forget about the Beyond at IG or podcast.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Start sending your reader questions.
Yeah, reader questions go to beyond@ign.com.
We'll still have a board post just
There
in
is
case.
obviously the board post, so you can go post on either of those. But beyond@ign.com is a place for good read mail. Pretty cool announcement for something that we're going to be doing next week, in part with Sony and Insomniac. So everybody knows Resistance 2 is coming out this year, and every game that goes to the store needs some sort of cover to go onto the box so people know what they're buying.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a little, hey, look at me, buy me. And but the Insomniac guys are in an impasse and don't know which cover to pick for their game. That is where IGN readers come in. So sometime next week, we're going to details about exactly what day it's going to go up, or TBD, but we're probably looking towards the middle or beginning of next week. But on the PS3 page, you go to IGN.com and go on there, and we're going to have a little story that'll show you what sounds like 3 potential covers for Resistance 2.
Ooh.
And you get to, we'll have a poll in there, and you get to vote on your favorite cover, and then your decision will go directly into the decision-making process for which cover is going to go up on the thing. So you get to be a part of history, decide the cover for Resistance 2, and yeah.
You must choose, but choose wisely.
There you go. I'll tell you that I've seen 2 of them, and
I saw 2. They look good.
Yeah.
Well, the one that we're thinking of looks really good.
Yeah. There's
choose the one we like.
I haven't seen the third one yet, but yeah, it's already definitely some potential. If yeah, it's gonna be
Sweet.
pretty cool. So
Should we also tease the thing that's coming up in 2 weeks, like our guest? Or should we leave that till next week?
Let's just we'll say this until to make sure that it gets absolutely locked down, doesn't get moved. We're gonna have a special guest in 2 weeks on what's the September 4th.
It should be the 4th, yeah.
Should be the September 4th thing. That it's somebody that is involved with the game that we mentioned today. And
Very big, very heavily anticipated.
very heavily anticipated game was at E3. We gave it some nice awards there. And so he. Now we know it's not a woman. Should be, if everything lines up, should be on the show in a couple weeks.
Answering
that should
questions.
be very good. Answering questions about the game.
I got one too.
Very highly anticipated sequel to another game.
Indeed.
Or not, yeah, to an old franchise. I'm giving you even
You're
more
giving
clues.
so much away.
Stop talking right now.
But yeah, so that should be pretty rad.
If everything goes according to plan, next Wednesday, I would check the PS3 page because there will be an awesome
every day.
exclusive review
There
of
you go.
some kind for an upcoming game everyone's anticipating, in
Man,
this room at least.
We are just teasing the hell out of our
So
listeners.
check
That is
Wednesday.
awesome.
Tell me what's going on.
If you like the SmackDown games, I would check our sites Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week,
Oh, no, you didn't.
and then for sure the week after that.
Have you no shame?
So let's go. Early next week you need to check. Monday, Wednesday, Friday you need to check.
Say check.
Wednesday for sure you need to check.
Yes.
Then the week after that you need to check every day.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, and then two Thursdays from now, you need to come back and check.
Okay.
We are
So,
just checking
keep
you in.
checking the PS3 page. Just keep going
That's what it
there.
comes down to.
That's right.
Keep hitting F5 until the year 2050.
Or the button explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or one of the two.
Oh, and there's a Buzz Master Quiz preview on PSP today. Go check that.
Oh, very good. And of course, our German Games Convention 2008 coverage is everywhere. We should have a Wipeout story by the time you read this. Or it's already on the site, but it'll be listed up on there. Some pretty cool stuff. That brings us to the end of the show. Greg, do we have a song?
We sure do, but with our songbird Ryan not here and him being the light of my life, I don't feel like singing either. So we turn for the final time to Sean Murphy, Podcast Beyond listener. He sent in this one little ditty. He calls it Editor Beatdown.
I see you there, sitting alone in your room, playing PlayStation by yourself. Grab some friends and come on by. Don't worry, there's lots of help. It's Editor Beatdown time again. Time to show them what you've got. You read IGN and watch the videos all day, but let's see what you got. It's time for Editor Beatdown. Roper is here, and Clements and Haynes too. Miller's coming if you can get on by. I hope his modem doesn't explode you. It's time for Editor Beatdown. Editor Beatdown. Winner is gonna be you. If you disconnect, just blame it on Clements. It's epic fail from who? It's time for me to go. Gotta pick up my controller and charge it up to full power. I'll see you in a day for 5 whole hours. It's time for Editor Beatdown.